All right, I've got a collection of 8 fragrances launching from the Budget Cheap House of Finery, which is a collection of fragrances you find at Target. Now, I actually discovered the house at a Target store while I was visiting family, probably like 3 years ago. And one of the fragrances I fell in love with is I'm a Musk right here. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's a budget take on something like Not a Perfume, Molecule 2, or anything that has an overdose of, ambroxan or other musks like white musks and things like that. So really love it on its own. It's clean, it's fresh, it's musky, sexy, and it's a great tool to have just on its own. It's personal. It's a skin scent, or you can also use it to kind of boost other fragrances. So this is my favorite so far. I also have a bottle of Before the Rainbow, which is basically kind of like something like wood sage and sea salt from the house of Joe Malone, with a bit of a more fruitiness into something more like there's a marine fragrance from MAC that I'm drawing a blank with. It's kind of like a cross between those two fragrances. I haven't worn this one much, just have it, but as you can see, I love the musk and I enjoy it on its own. But the 8 fragrances are Alleged with Coriander, Green Sage, Patchouli. Now these 8 new fragrances do seem to be a bit more elevated. I'm not sure what the price points are going to be, but I bought these two for around $25. They're 50 ml bottles. But Alleged and the rest of the fragrances do seem to be a bit more elevated, so we'll see what the price point's going to be, because the bottles do seem a bit more upgraded. And maybe they're going to be the same price, I don't know. And I haven't seen them in store, but we'll have to look. But the next one, In the Oud, is Oud, Saffron, and Suede. So all the notes breakdowns seem to be very simplistic, just like the previous fragrances. And they do kind of seem a bit cloney or dupey. But to me, I'm a Musk is great. I absolutely love it. And perhaps this is also kind of seeming like it's a dupe or a clone. But to me, I guess it kind of reminds me of wood sage and sea salt, but it doesn't really smell like it too much. The idea reminds me more of it. So I'm not sure if it's really a dupe. Maybe they're taking several different fragrance ideas and combining their notes and coming out with their own version. I'm not sure what they're doing. But so far, these fragrances sound great. The next one I'm going to mention is Aqua Venture. It's juniper, moss, and sea salt. All of them do sound great to me, and would love to get my nose on them. And at that time, I will see, okay, this is definitely a flat-out clone or a dupe, or this is something that reminds me of these 2 fragrances, or maybe that one. Not exactly a dupe kind of a thing. But the 4th fragrance is Smoke and Leather. So it's black leather, Guaiac wood, and tobacco. Sounds great, right? I don't think they'll make an animalic fragrance, so they're very mass fragrances. So I think if you're into the idea of budget fragrances, check these fragrances out. Again, I really recommend I'm a Musk, but a lot of times when I recommend fragrances like I'm a Musk, some people might be anosmic to it and they come back to me and complain, I don't smell anything except for alcohol. So be warned, I'm a Musk is very light. It's a skin scent. It's mostly a musk, a clean musk, and it seems to me that it has a lot of ambroxan in it, or those kind of notes, so you can be a bit anosmic to it. But the next fragrance, Why Not? It's called Why Not, with amber, geranium, and sage. Seems to be an amber with, aromatic and herbal notes. It does sound great to me. Again, I'm uncertain if this is a clone or a dupe, but who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it's an original fragrance, because this collection does seem to be a bit more elevated compared to the last. But I can't tell from just reading notes if it's a dupe or a clone or inspired or anything like that. But this does sound great. Why not? But the next one, called Ultra, featuring notes of bergamot, black pepper, and pineapple. So does that mean this is an Aventus clone? I don't know if... I mean, you never know what of the fragrance is going to be like. And it doesn't necessarily mean if it has pineapple in the notes, it's going to smell like Aventus, right? I love pineapple in fragrances. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. So sometimes I have to definitely get my nose on them to see and say, yeah, it's a great one, or it's a dud kind of a thing. But the next fragrance, called Not Another Blue. I like that, Not Another Blue. Yes, there's a lot of blue fragrances out there, but is this really a blue fragrance? Featuring notes of Amberwood, Elemi resin, and Vetiver. Seems to be also leaning on the masculine side. these fragrances do seem to be leaning on the masculine side. So let's see if they're strictly targeted to men or are they unisex, but just reading notes to you guys and checking them out and learning about them online and, you know, putting my notes together for this video, I was thinking this is a collection of fragrances that might be more catered to men because all the notes seem very, very masculine. There's no like real like floral notes or notes that kind of go into the feminine direction. So we'll see. I don't have all the news on this collection yet. I'm curious to get my nose on them. But like I said, they all sound great. I want to get my nose on them to report back to you guys and see which ones I want to pick up. Like this, I'm a musk. I keep recommending it. I love it. But the last fragrance, the 8th fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is called Jungle Vetiver. Love the idea of this one. Love the name as well. It's black tea, cardamom, carrot seeds. Let me know which one of these fragrances sounds great. Do let me know if you're a fan of this collection. Which did you find to be very quality? Which did you find to be very cheap? Cheap smelling, dupe smelling, clone smelling, and things like that. I know they have a cherry one in the fragrance in the collection, and I smelled it the time I went and smelled the entire collection I mentioned earlier, and instantly thought of Lost Cherry. So there's a lot of Lost Cherry dupes out there, and their cherry did remind me of Lost Cherry. I didn't need another Lost Cherry clone or dupe or anything. I have Lost Cherry, so, but yeah, I want to get my nose on this collection. Do let me know if you've sampled them already. Are they at the Target stores already? Or are they still on their way to be launched? And do you consider this new series of fragrances to lean masculine? What do you think? To me, they do. I don't find a single white floral note, nothing with rose, nothing that can come off, you know, feminine and things like that. Everything seems to be screaming masculine. And so maybe it's strictly a male targeted collection. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on this finery collection of fragrances. Let me know if you sampled these two. Which one of these two is your favorite? When you sampled I'm a Musk, did you think it was nothing there? It was simply a alcohol smell? Or did you like put your nose on it, study it, you know, experience it over and over again until you started picking up stuff? Before I shot the video, I sprayed myself with this and I was like, wow, this smells so good. Yeah, there's hardly anything there. It's a skin scent. And that's basically what it is. Sometimes people don't want intense fragrances. And with me, it's not the case. I love it intense. But sometimes I like the smell of musks. I just love musks in general. Whether they're clean musks or the animalic kind of musks or this, you know, the musks that remind you of the real true deer musk. I like them all. But sometimes I don't want something loud. I wanted something closer to my skin. This is also a great fragrance to, you know, use as a bed scent. It won't interfere. And if you work in a hospital or something like that, because I have a family member that does, and she can't wear fragrance or perfume at a hospital, it's a skin scent, and she kind of utilizes it. Still, she doesn't overspray. Like, she'll spray one or two, and that's pretty much it. But either way, I'm recommending this one too much because I consider it to be a great deal, as it's a great cheapie. But let me know your thoughts on the finery collection of fragrances. Add a comment below, and thanks so much for tuning in today. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.